We have two new people with us tonight. But we have three people that go away tomorrow. But they'll all come back. Quiet center. Tonight's song is Green Made to Sleep. Listen to the music.
May the Lord and sun shine upon you.
For us, the important thing is to see that children who have HIV want to be normal. They don't want to be told they are different. They don't want to see themselves as different. And that's the one thing that Watto Pot has tried to do, is we make no distinction between HIV and HIV negative. They all run, play, eat, sleep together. And that's unique. And most orphanages separate them. They put them in different houses. But we have intentionally put them together so that our kids grow up thinking they are normal. And that's what we would like the rest of the world to see, is these kids should not be seen as abnormal because they have a disease that their parents gave them. They are normal kids. They want to be normal kids. And as long as they're on medicines, there's no reason why they can't be normal kids. And so that is, I think, what we're trying to, the discrimination and the stigma attached to HIV is needless. You cannot get it from them unless you're doing something very inappropriate. And so there's no reason to be afraid of them. There's no reason to be afraid of them in your school. There's no reason to be afraid that your children are playing with them. There's no way they can get it from them except in very inappropriate ways. And that's the message we want to get out, is our kids just want to be normal.
May the Lord and sun
When we started back in 2000, the AIDS crisis was just beginning in Cambodia, and I went with my partner to many houses where we saw people dying underneath the house because people didn't want them in the house because they had AIDS. And so people and children were dying very uncomfortable, without medicines, without people caring for them, because people didn't understand the disease and were afraid of it. We've lost nearly 500 of the people who came to us for help have died since 2001. Not all of them died here. Many died at home, but several hundred died here as well. So I think it's because of what we have gone through together. Each of the kids have had to cremate their own parents, and it's tradition for the child to light the fire under their parent, which sounds very tough, but it's instant closure. The child knows they're not going to come back out, and so when they light that match, it's over. And within an hour or two, they're out running around playing, and it seems to have, accepted the fact that their parent was gone. The ashes are pulled out after about 3 or 4 hours. We can pull them out when they've cooled down a little bit. And then the Buddhist tradition is to wash them with sterile water. So usually a coconut water. You can wash it with coconut water is the preferred treatment, or it's just a sterile water, clean water. But then you take whatever bones. Usually the way the crematorium is set up, the bones just kind of fall into place. So you have skull bones, finger bones, toe bones, stuff like that. And so you just kind of pick up different parts of the body and you put them in, and you wash them in a tray. You wash them with sterile water, let them dry, and then you put them in the urn. So it's not the ashes, but the bones that we keep. So far, we've been very fortunate in that we've been able to get support for we have 4 in university right now. 1 is finishing his 4th year of nursing. 2 are in their 3rd year of law school, and 1 is in 2nd year of civil engineering, and he wants to work with community development. And then we have 5 more starting this year who will, if they pass their tests and everything, will be starting university. Most of those are going to the arts because they're all artists. The things they learned here. So most of those are going into some kind of art, either architectural drawing or into art. There was one group that was making quilts. And they would send them to America, and the ladies, they had a lot of ladies making, HIV ladies making quilts. And one time, and then they would send them in big boxes to America and sell them at auctions and stuff like that. And that was how they made their money. One time, one needle that somebody had used to hold a thing and got stuck in it, and it got sent to the States. And when somebody opened it, they pricked themselves and they said, "Oh my God, she's going to get AIDS," And so they stopped the shipment of the quilts. Which, I mean, by that time, even if it had been intentional that somebody put a needle, the virus would have been dead, within seconds after it. So that totally just ignorance about AIDS and how you can get it. You cannot get it unless you're doing something inappropriate. It's public school, and the very first kid we sent, Toon Hang, was 6 years old, and he was the first HIV kid ready to go to school.
Spell his name. Toon.
Toon, Toon Hang, Hang. And his mother had died, and his mother had given him to me, and so he was like my shadow. But he was learning English, and I mean, he was a very bright kid, very lovable kid. And so we went to the school, and they didn't really want to take HIV kids in the beginning. That was when we first came here. But we finally talked the school into giving it a try. And so he went to school, and he just became the teacher's favorite student, and was top of the class, and really everybody in the school loved him, from the principal on down. And then he got sick and died. And it was like suddenly the community felt the loss that we felt all the time. But before it was always, well, the kids with AIDS died. but it wasn't one of their
It
students.
never had a face.
Right, but when it was one of their students that everybody loved, then it was different. And so the next year, when we had 3 more kids to go to school, they just took them without any questions. And now we have 26 kids in public school, and there is no problems at all with them. So, well, one of the things we did, which was very intelligent, but we didn't think about it at the time, is we hired only local people to do the work rather than importing people from outside. What we didn't realize was when we first opened, many people had already been sick for several months, and so they would bring them here, and often they would die within days of coming here. And so people in the community started saying, "Oh, they're killing people over there," because suddenly they hadn't had deaths here for years, and suddenly they've had 10 funerals in the past week, And so people started talking, the rumor spread that we were killing people here. So our people, the people that worked for us, could go back out into the community and say, "No, that's not what's happening." The people were very sick.
History of the country.
Right,
yeah. Makes sense,
And so it worked out well that we had hired local people, because they could go back out into the home, and they would pick up on these rumors and say, "No, that's not true at all." And that's how we got well known for being a compassionate ministry. So, and we have volunteers from all over the world, coming, and that's a big help. I think, like I said, the main thing we want people to know is that HIV doesn't have to be feared.
That's right,
That there should be no stigma attached to it. It's a sickness, and with the medicines, they're normal people, and there's no reason to be afraid of it. And that's the main thing we want people to know. I went to Vietnam as a Marine, thinking I was doing my country a favor, and got there and realized I wasn't. That we were, in fact, the enemy, and that we had destroyed people's lives by being there for selfish reasons. And so I came back here with the intention of giving something back for my country. Even though I didn't kill anybody personally, I certainly witnessed inappropriate killing and murder, and I felt that for my country I wanted to come back here and repay the people.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you very much.